How do news events affect the currency market? All this news surrounding Trump is geared towards quick profits. Everyone who knew the plans in advance made money. Those who didn't know lost money due to their greed. With the financial market, it's the opposite. The volumes have increased and it's become easier to trade. That's exactly why the BoosterBot team doesn't trade cryptocurrency. We are for increasing capital, for increasing passive income, but only if it's not risky. All our traders in the elite club know that we don't take risks. We earn safely and steadily. You have the opportunity to join us by simply clicking the link in the description and letting us know that you want to be part of our elite community. We not only provide the bot, but we also help you grow your capital. It's not hard if you approach it with intelligence and knowledge. The example of non-farm and other news shows us how you can earn amazing interest not even on cryptocurrency, but simply on finance. And such news comes out every week. Let's take a look at an example of how BoosterBot handles a busy news background, and even a simple bot can make money from the news. If we take today's situation is that the news is mainly about the euro, which has already passed, and only the news about the dollar remains. So I suggest we take the currency pairs related to the dollar and try to make some profits on them. Let's take the first currency pair, euro-dollar. Let's see how BoosterBot performs in a fairly busy news environment. To do this, I will activate BoosterBot and select the euro-dollar currency pair. And I choose the trade duration to be 1 minute, since there are currently very high volumes, and 1 minute is the perfect time. Right now, there's a lot of news related to the euro. All the news has already come out, and now we have the dollar left, as we can see together. There are a lot of different bets here, and they all affect the price. If the news is positive, the price goes up. If the news is negative, the price drops with a certain percentage, depending on the severity of the negative news. With the right knowledge, all of this can be easily analyzed. And this algorithm is present in BoosterBot, as it is artificial intelligence and it has no trouble performing analysis. Let's take a look at an example with currency pairs related to the dollar. For example, I choose a currency pair, British pound dollar. Since there's a very strong news background here, it's working in my favor, and I'm going to open a trade. For 1 minute, if there wasn't such a busy news background, I would open a trade for 3 minutes. And I get a sell signal. Right from here, I'm opening my sell trade on the British pound dollar. As I mentioned, it's no trouble for BoosterBot to perform analysis. You can do it on your own, and open trades based on the news background. But there's one nuance. These percentages are not shown during the release, and it's during the release that such similar impulses usually happen, when the price suddenly rises up or down. But with the help of with paid subscriptions for insider information, you can know much more accurately and much earlier where the price is headed. And in BoosterBot, there are 3 such subscriptions. This is truly a powerful tool that allows you to make money. As you can see, it's not hard to make $4,500 on a good news backdrop in just one trade. It's pretty simple if you know which currency pairs to choose, but right now I'll show you how. When you see news with a yellow mark, that news does not have much impact on the price. If it's an orange or red news item, it will affect the price. We shared more about this in our Telegram channel, where we talk about how to make money from news and how to trade them correctly. Make sure to subscribe if you want to stay updated on all the news events. If we take a closer look at what was happening with the cryptocurrency related to Trump. Trump released his own coin. It's no secret to anyone what was happening at that moment. Everyone who didn't know how to get in just stood on the sidelines. Then they saw how this coin was growing. Let me even show you. Just look at what was happening. There was a very sharp increase, and everyone who knew what was going to happen got in right at that moment. For a moment, and then the coin did not make any growth. That is, everyone who bought here or here out of greed lost their money. This will never happen in the financial market because it is backed by the economy, the euro dollar, the same euro, the Australian Canadian dollar. These are all currencies of large countries where there are many people who don't like to take risks. We stick to the same principle, which is why we don't recommend getting into cryptocurrencies. Just like all those news stories related to Trump or Tesla, it doesn't matter with big corporations how they affect their stocks. They either rise or fall based on some news release. But what this adds to regular financial currency pairs is simply more volume. So in this case, you get added volume, which allows you to confidently analyze. You understand that there are levels of interest that the price has. In any case, it will come eventually. And then, this simply serves as fuel for how quickly it will come. Especially if there are a lot of news items, meaning the levels where the price should be. So, this is just the nature of the financial market, and the more news that comes out, the faster the analysis plays out. That is, for example, if there was no news, then there would be this big impulse. it would have stretched not for 5 candles, but it would have stretched for literally about 50 candles. It's roughly how it works, just like fuel, and also in terms of volume. Just look, when the news comes out, we have very large volumes on the chart. This allows us to trade very quickly. When there are no news, we don't have any volume. So at that moment, we can calmly work on a 1-minute time frame. And here is the best part that awaits us. It's 5 minutes if there are no volumes at all, so I advise you to use the booster bot carefully for news trading. If there is no news, then trade in the normal mode. If there is news, then trade for 1 minute. And only on those currency pairs where there are currently orange or red news. The booster bot will help you analyze and you'll make money from that news. Now I'm selecting the currency pair dollar Japanese yen. I go to the booster bot and choose the same currency pair. I choose the trade duration of 1 minute. And I get a sell signal. Right from here I open my trade, a sell. What do you think about the entry point? I didn't manage to get in very well, but that's okay, let's take a look. Regarding the context of this trade, here we have a downward movement, which means that there are negative news coming out for the dollar right now. This currency pair is losing its weight, but for the Japanese yen on the other hand, there are very good news right now, and this currency pair is rising. What does that mean for us? More specifically, how should we act? If you choose, for example, the dollar, and you see that the news is positive, it means that the dollar will rise, but this is only if the dollar is in the first position. If the dollar is in the second position, then the currency pair will fall. Since we are prioritizing the first currency that is listed in the name, and by the way, this trade is closing at a loss. Unfortunately that happens, but as you can see, because of the large volume, my trade opened a bit off from where it should have. I opened it here, but literally at the last moment the price slipped and I didn't get in at the right spot. Unfortunately this happens. This is a financial market, but here we cannot lose everything, as in the same cryptocurrency. Now I want to choose a currency pair that doesn't have such a big news background. For example, it could be the Australian Canadian dollar. Let's choose this currency pair in the booster bot and select the trade duration. I get a sell signal and right from here I open my sell trade. When there's no news background, we analyze in standard mode. So we can rely on our technical knowledge and work in a standard way. If there are major news releases, then you need to be careful. If you're not sure but want to trade the news, then write to our support account where you'll get a more detailed answer on how to make money from the news. Well, you can also try it yourself, trading the news along with the booster bot. That's also a good option. Since in booster bot almost 80% of news trades in plus, based on insider information, plus a little fundamental analysis. But if you are not yet sure about this type of trading, if you want to but are very scared, and if you've never traded news before, then it's better to hold back or reduce your risks. That would be a much more correct and wise decision. Then you won't lose anything and we'll just see how it all works. But again, if you want to increase your deposit, if you want to make money, not only in the financial market but also in its news and other sudden events, that many people miss and just watch from the sidelines and then wonder why they didn't get into that trade. Then subscribe to our Telegram channel and ask all your personal questions in the support account. They will help you and answer all your questions. As you can see, it's really easy and simple to make money from news. Yes, there are moments. Just like the last trade that went into the red, you need to understand that this happens. It's not an exception. This always happens when we have a big news background. Just look at this volume, even if we open the Australian Canadian dollar. Although no, here we don't have such large volumes, but just look at this. This only happens when we have very strong news coming out, and in such moments, you need to be extremely careful. If you see a very big news story like how some company head fired half of the employees or something is happening in the world, don't rush to react to it too quickly. First, try it out. First weigh everything, all the risks. What you're about to experience now seems like FOMO. And it's better to trade steadily, reliably, since this news is all about volatility. These are all the volumes for us, and that's very good and works in our favor. I leave all the useful links in the description. That's all I have for today. See you soon.